here we have, I want to talk about these Swattings now. The Swattings have continued. I thought they'd be over by now. For everyone that knows, like, I've been swatted a dozen times. It's scary. It's particularly scary if you have dogs. You know, I'm not worried about the police, taking my life, even though that is a risk and it has happened before in the past.
You've had your life taken before in the past?
No, other people have.
Other people.
Yeah. In the past, I probably have.
Serious business, you silly pirate.
Yeah. It's scary. And I thought, like, it's kind of important to show people a little bit of what happens when they do this kind of stuff, because the point of swatting is to have the police take your life. That's the point. It's to scare you. It's to make you feel at danger. And here's Owen Schroyer. By the way, shout out Owen Schroyer, looking pretty svelte. He's probably going to release the calendar soon. But this is his interaction. How do I do this here?
Can I just record this?
Wait, that's exactly what I did every time I got swatted. I said, I'm recording this. And they tell me to put my phone on the ground. I said, I'm not putting my phone on the ground. I'm recording this for my safety. They don't have, you can record it. Like the first time I got swatted, they didn't have body cams.
Really?
No. And so the second time they did, and that's only because I had my lawyer contacting the city being like, hey, we're going to sue you. And then basically I'm saying, I'm not going to sue my local police department, just get body. I'm said, basically, if you don't get body cams, I am going to sue you for what you did to me, because they also entered my house without a warrant and said they can do that. By the way, there's a thing called exigent circumstances, which means if they swat you, the cops don't need a warrant. They can just come in your house. And they always do.
It's happened to me 3 times.
Yeah. So they come in your house anyway. So, don't leave your bongs out or anything like that. Although technically that's also fruit of the poison tree. They can't prosecute you for that. But that doesn't mean they won't. That doesn't mean they won't cause problems or they don't show up later with convenient warrant or all that kind of stuff. So
I like this stream because you're getting legal advice and you're getting therapy.
Yeah.
Saying, we get it all on the Quartercast.
Yeah. Well, half Asian super lawyer Bill Richmond is my lawyer. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to sue the police department because they're only doing their job, but I want them to get body cams. So can we send them a letter that implies that I will be suing them for the fact that they kept coming even after it was very clear that it was.
Aren't they required to have body cams?
They weren't at the county level. They were in the city, in the big city. But they all have body cams now, which again, I don't blame the cops for showing up. But this level of force is bonkers.
Mm-hmm. All right, I assure you, this is a non-starter, gentlemen.
That's how I was too. I was like, I'm getting swatted, you idiots. Why don't you just come up here?
You want me to take my shirt? I have nothing. You want me to take my shirt?
Thank God I didn't film me taking my shirt off. I probably wouldn't have released the footage then, though.
Oh, and just volunteers take a shirt off because he's working out.
He's shredded, yeah. Well, no, because they make you lift your shirt up.
No,
so
I know.
There's nothing in your waistband, yeah. I took mine off too because I'm like, I don't want any question. Here you go. I got nothing.
Keep walking. Backwards. Towards the sound of my voice.
So they end up, here they put you in handcuffs usually, which is what they did to me. They don't do that anymore now, but then they'll storm the house, make people come out with their hands up.
Come to the front door, your hands up and empty. It's the only way I can guarantee your safety.
It's the only way I can guarantee your safety. How about you guarantee keeping your finger off the trigger, homie?
Yeah, it's hard because what he actually means is that's the only way I can guarantee my safety.
Legally.
I understand.
Yeah.
But also in this case, because we know it's false, it's just feels more frustrating.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I got swatted, the first time I was actually out on a hike and the police apparently they came and they swept the house. The second time they came to the door and said, is there an incident? Is there a problem? Then left. The third time, they didn't even bother to show up. That's
Well,
one
I
of the
know-
advantages
I'm
of
fine with
small
them
town
checking in.
America.
Yeah,
I
now
know
that go
a
ahead,
ton
Hannah,
of
go
people,
ahead.
who, especially if you live in small areas, who like if they think this is a threat, that they probably already know the sheriff, especially if you live somewhere small, but like they have called to be like, I work in this industry or do whatever. Like, I don't want you to waste your resources or time. Like, if you get a call like this, here's my cell phone number, contact me. Because it's not good for anybody involved.
Somebody in chat says not actual SWAT members coming up. I mean, maybe that's true here, but at my house it was.
Mhm.
Like the first time they did it, they had the van, they had the armored vehicle and everything. There was a full deployment.
It depends on what's available in that area, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, so like I've talked to my local, when I moved, I talked to my local sheriff. And then when this started happening again, I also talked to my local sheriff again. I called them back out. I was like, yo, hey, here's what's going on. Turns out he plays video games too. So we talked about video games. Very cool dude. Kind of a thin cop mustache, buddy. He's got some work to do. But you know, former soldier guy, very cool. I was like, hey, you know, just so you know. So he said, hey, you know, when we get a call to this address, like this big red thing shows up on the screen that says like, hey, they've had Swattings before, be on the lookout, this kind of stuff. But you only get that if you call. I'm not saying everyday citizens need to flood their local PD and say, hey, I need this protection. Plus, they're still coming. Having that warning will not stop them from coming, but you hope that it like plants a seed in their head, like, oh, here we go again. You know, at least it's not like they're coming in. And then now, by the way, people are delivering pizzas.
Oh, I wish that they would deliver me one of the assassination pizzas.
Well, no, because they're cash on delivery. If there were free pizzas, I would have no, you know.
What a skinflint.
And like, dude, what does a pizza guy have to do with this? It's by the way, it's been the same MO every single time. So they've had first the Swattings, then the pizzas. They're saying this is linked to Ukraine or whatever. I don't know about all that. But what do you guys make of this?
This is just like tipping someone the black spot. It's an attempt to intimidate by saying, hey, I know where you live.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's going on here.
I was going to say, they can, like, they'll know if the pizza got delivered or not, so they can confirm if that's your address and how you received it. You know, I assume if you refuse to pay for it, somebody's going to get a call being like, what the heck, man? Like, you owe us money.
Well, it's going to be some anonymous number.
Yeah,
that
they'll
called
use
in,
a burner phone or something.
Yeah, they'll do, you know, they'll just place the order online. But like, nobody, I can't believe pizza places. Does anybody in chat have a pizza place that takes cash on delivery? I can't order a pizza without paying up front.
We do.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, where I live, maybe it's because you're rural too. I was like,
if you use Grubhub, you can, I mean, you tip the driver, but you can always pay, you know, in cash.
Interesting. I have to pay up front for everything, but I'm also very stringent about if they frick up anything on my order, I file a complaint. Like I've been banned from Firehouse subs. It's not even my fault. My wife is a vegetarian. Every single time I order a vegetarian sub, they put meat on it 3 times in a row. And if you know anything about Firehouse subs, that's like a $16 sub sandwich. These aren't like Subway $5 footlongs. So every time I'm like, nope, you put meat on it. And then Uber Eats would always refund 100% of the money. But like, I'm very vigilant. Like if I pay up front and you even screw up the order a little bit, I'm all about like pushing back and demanding refunds and demanding, like, I don't care if it happens. If they screw up my order too, I'm like, yep, the order was wrong because you made me pay for it up front and I didn't get to refuse it. So now you will refund my order. And I'm
Jared
hoping
Vogel,
that they
by
learn.
the way, of Subway fame, does not have to pay anything for his footlongs or his 6
Yeah,
inches.
he gets a 6 inches too. Yeah, and maybe even the mini subs, whether or not he wants them. Do we think now it appears to be? It has been other people, but it does appear to be exclusively targeting InfoWars guys now. What do you make Jeremy Moore like Karen? No. If your wife doesn't eat meat and they put meat on her sub, you paid $17 for a sub, no one's eating. Because Lord knows I'm not eating that veggie delight crap that she ordered.
Okay, on this, I'm going to disagree with you vaguely.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, if there's something relatively minor with the order, like you can take the meat off the sub, so then it becomes.
Yeah, but my wife won't eat it. If she's a vegetarian, there's meat juice all over it. You can't do that. You know what I mean? If
I'm
it's like
the least picky eater that I know in all of the world. I eat weird stuff, so maybe that's a little bit different.
It does seem crazy to me that I assume, I mean, I feel like when I've been to sandwich places, the vegetarian option is slightly less expensive. So it is weird that they would then give you the more expensive.
If they do it,
I don't know.
So I'm clear, like if I say no onions and they put onions on my sub, I'm not demanding a full refund. But like if it's like my wife can't eat this anymore, like if they'll put meat on it and I'll still eat it, I'll still complain, but I won't demand like a full refund. But like if I order double meat, here's one. My pet peeve. I order double meat, it's not double meat, I complain every time. Why? Because they charge you $6 for double meat. So like you charge me $6 for double meat, you didn't give it to me, so I want my I never let that slide. 100% homegrown meat juice. Yeah. I mean, like I'm just saying, like if you're a vegetarian, you don't eat meat, you're not gonna pick off ground beef. You know, like you just, you know, get the order right. Don't glaze for a company that's being useless. Exactly. Especially since I over tip. I tip every time I order Grubhub or Uber Eats, I tip at least $15. So like I know, by the way, most of these dudes are going in there and I put in the message. Now I'm on a rant. I put in the message. My wife is a vegetarian.
Guys.
Please double check to make sure the order is right. And then they don't double check. And then when Shamiqua or Tajikistan guy comes out and delivers my food and it's wrong, I take my tip back too. Because I tip you $15. I told you to look. You didn't look. Now you get nothing. I feel like I'm being totally reasonable.
Yeah, but that's the reason why you might be getting trolled by the sub delivery service.
They don't know. It just prints off at the store. My name's not even on it.
It's like I've had one incident in the last like 10 years where I got bad service as far as like DoorDash, Uber Eats, anything like that.
Well, they're rock solid at other restaurants. I'm just saying that one is not great.
I figure if you tip well, typically you get better service, you know?
Drivers don't care where I live, dude. They don't care. They don't care one bit.